this sign?
Do you disagree with it?
That he's Keynesian? That he's not American? Is that what you're saying?
Well, we're saying, we're asking the question.
He was born in Hawaii. That is a state of the United States. He is born here legally, and he is an awesome president.
Is he a Keynesian?
No, absolutely not.
It's possible. I mean, I'm not going to go and judge people.
It doesn't matter. All right, maybe it would matter on his views on things, but like most of us come from, Ireland, Germany, Italy, most of us come from different countries.
Until there's proof to the contrary, could it be a...
What proof do you want? He gave you proof. He gave you proof. He was born in Hawaii. What proof do you want?
And you think that establishes that he's definitely not Keynesian?
He's laughing. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I mean, you people are trying to make something out of nothing.
I don't really see how it's relevant to his presidency. It is important, but it shouldn't be the only thing looked at.
That's stupid, and that's what that sign is, stupid. And Americans, I'll tell you what, hopefully on November, that people are going to know that most Americans are not stupid and don't buy this.
I don't know what his economic policies really are, personally, so I can't really answer that question.
It's hard to know until we have proof one way or the other, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I thought you said Kenyan.
You can't keep up to his promises, but, he could put forward what he promised to, make a future of it. But, you can see by what happened over the 2 years that he's been in presidency that he hasn't kept up with.
I feel like I know where you stand on Prop 19, sir.
Yeah.
Trucks with hundreds of metric tons of food were flagged off to drought-stricken areas of eastern, northeastern, and coastal region by the Kenya Red Cross at the height of the famine. But as it turns out, part of the consignment, the Unimix in particular, distributed in various schools, had traces of aflatoxin.
Out of our normal random check that we did, it revealed there was a problem. Once that problem was identified, we took action to address that decisively and quickly by recalling the food, by stopping the distribution.
The decision by the humanitarian agency comes after conclusive lab tests made by the national standards body, KEBS, revealed that the food was contaminated and thus unfit for human consumption. And this has put at least 60,000 children at risk.
And now, in terms of what is being done to the children, or what will be done to the children who have consumed this food, as I earlier said, what needs to be done now is they need to be medically checked.
And now the Kenya Red Cross says that the buck stops with the producer of the Unimix, in this case, Procter & Allen and Steyr Millers, who have to shoulder the cost.
The food, you can't say it was destroyed along the way because of the weather. What weather? Because of the heat or because of the rain? There were no rains. Was it because of the heat? The food has been produced, and it was, if the supplier or the miller produced and said it was good quality, fine, let them show their lab results. But the results that have come since then are not the same.
However, Bass says just a small quantity of the food has been affected. The Red Cross says the spoiled batch is now under lock and key, awaiting destruction. Pamela Sigi, NTV, Nairobi.
Hello everyone, welcome to Global Government News. Today is Monday, October 31st, 2011, and I'm Darko. It's Halloween, everyone. It's our Master's Day. Hopefully you can get out and celebrate and chew on some high fructose corn syrup or some aspartame. It says here, do you believe entertainers such as Beyonce and Lady Gaga are aware of the subtle pharaonic Illuminati symbology in their performances/rituals? Well, you only have 2 hours left to vote. Most of you have probably voted before. But if you haven't, I don't know if you're going to be able to really change the results right now too much, because right now 85% say yes, they are aware. Don't forget, we have Madonna doing performing her own ritual in, February next year for the Super Bowl. So make sure you stay tuned to that programming ritual. Besides that, I have a news archive over here with all the videos I made, and then put in her email address right there. Okay, I'm done. I have a lot of news to get to in this segment here, so I'm just going to get moving here. Start out with the economy, and then I'm going to move into eugenics in this first segment. All right, 360 tons of contaminated food were recalled in the UN, and we pretty much just saw the video of that, but oops, sorry. Yeah, sorry about that. You know, it just happens to be in one of those nations. in Africa, where it's a third world country, and of course it happens to be what? The United Nations. So, okay. Also, we had what? Obama is not a Keynesian, sorry. And most of the people didn't even know what the hell the guy was talking about. He's talking about economic policies, right? Where you can't allow a market to be free and unhindered by government intervention. That's basically what he was asking them, but they got so offensive, and they're so clueless, those American sheeple, that they were just getting all on the defensive about him. They weren't even actually arguing about him not being an American. They were arguing about just how people were bashing him about his birth certificate and stuff like that. And half of them didn't even really care. They said, oh, it's not really even that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal, huh? That the guy is not even an American, right? Citizen, an American-born citizen. It's not a big deal to you. And but most of them didn't even know what a Keynesian was. So it's very telling of the times. Of what's going on right now, and that's why I think that Occupy Wall Street, it's not even really Occupy Wall Street, it's Occupy the World is what it is. And these are going on all around the world, and what it's turning into is an anti-capitalism movement. And, of course, you're going to have provocateurs, government provocateurs, mostly police, dressed up as anarchists destroying property, saying that that's what anarchy is not having any respect for property and having no responsibility for one's actions. But really, I just want to point this out here, because I do have a lot of news to get to, is that in an anarchistic society, you would actually have the most responsibility for your actions. You would be the most liable you've ever been. Under a government, under a corporation known as the government, you are a subsidiary. You are a kind of a sub-corporation. That's why you have a social security number and your name is all in caps and all that. Your name is a corporation, and that offsets all the liability. So if you don't want to really be free and and go that route, well then that's fine. Just admit that you don't want to be liable or responsible for your actions. And so here we go. World of Work Report 2011. This is from the International Labor Organization. Says the world heading for a new and deeper jobs recession, warns of more social unrest. So this is all part of what the elites are brewing up right now. Is they want this to happen. They want people to get violent. They're like shooting that Marine veteran into the head. They want to get veterans pumped up and start getting violent and stuff like that. Says here, but that says that it will further delay the global economic recovery and may ignite more social unrest. And of course, the global economic recession or crisis was all done unilaterally by the same banking elites. They're actually backing this anti-Wall Street protests and stuff like that. It says here, more than 60% of global consumers downbeat, so global consumer confidence remained weak in the third quarter, with more than 60% of consumers saying it was not a good time to spend. So then we move on here. Factbox, largest U.S. bankruptcies, MF Global Holdings and futures brokerage run by former Goldman Sachs filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection on Monday after tentative agreement to sell some assets. Eurozone unemployment at record high, so get into the European Union and you'll be able to find a job. Your standard of living will go up. That's what they promised you, right? Says here, Japan takes action to finally devaluate currency, says Japan's finance minister. Says Tokyo has intervened in the currency market to weaken the yen against the U.S. dollar, whose recent rise has threatened an export-driven economy. Next up, don't count on us to help you out of your single currency hole, China tells Europe. Says we cannot provide a cure for the European melee. So, and that's right. They said they don't want any more euro bonds or any bonds. Says here how, and actually they're selling off every month. They're selling off U.S. Treasury bonds. Says here how, and they're also increasing trading with South Korea and Taiwan right now, and Hong Kong with the renminbi or the won. Says how the Eurocrisis laid bare world's new economic order. So this global 20, this group of 20, and Keynes on the French Riviera will highlight the fact that the continent's preeminence is a thing of the past. So this new economic order, what does it include? Well, it includes international elites such as George Soros attacking Brussels rescue deals, saying what? Oh, not that it's wrong or anything like that, but that it will only last between 1 day and 3 months. So it's not enough. You're not borrowing enough. That's the problem. What also is included in this economic world order, this new world order, is ancient rules give Prince veto on planned UK laws. So Prince Charles will keep his little known, Prince Charles, who's related to Vlad the Impaler or Dracula, will keep his little-known veto over some planned laws, a power that dates back to the Middle Ages, after British government said Monday it was not going to rewrite ancient constitutional rules. And so, yeah, pretty crazy. And it says it's touched a nerve among anti-monarchists. So, and they do, have like the same show that they put on, just like the U.S. with Parliament and Congress. It's just a big show, and unfortunately, people still believe in it. Like those hoopleheads that you saw in the beginning of the video, confusing Keynesian with Kenyans. Tony Blair, the billionaire donor, Mr. Mittal, a major deal in Kazakhstan. So Tony Blair doing what these sellouts do after they sell out these people that they quote represent, secured a deal to represent. So these are these little diplomats that I was talking about before, that they go around the globe securing deals and writing books. And it says here, the deal to represent Kazakhstan after meeting billionaire labor donor Mittal in a corruption-plagued country, the Mail on Sunday can reveal. So, yeah, that's right. So be able to get cheap labor and cheap resources. All right. It says here, Chavez orders more land taken from British firm. So kind of on the opposite right here. That's why I say Venezuela they're up there. They're next on the docket, man, with like a Libya-style thing. They're going to be taking him out soon. Venezuela's president on Sunday offered an expropriation, of almost 1 million acres belonging to British-owned company amid a disagreement over compensation for earlier takeovers of ranchland from the firm. And let's not forget, Chavez recently, between all of his treatments for cancer in Cuba, has been putting a call out for all of his gold to come back in. So, which then is tied to Libya, which wanted to start their own African Union currency based off gold. Priceless paintings to Rolex watches. Pawnbrokers see increase in the middle-class clients because they're getting desperate, like in Greece, where they're actually bartering and stealing gum to sell as a currency. It says government-funded apartments run Teens Going Green program. Teens policing their parents about recycling. Nonprofit affordable housing developer that spent $33 million and green upgrades to Alexandria, Virginia apartment complex also administers a Teen Going Green program. And it says among where teens take the green agenda back home and are policing their parents to be more environmentally friendly. More news on ecofascism. HUD awards nearly $100 million in new grants to promote smarter and sustainable planning for jobs and economic growth. These are, of course, these little eco-cities. Of course, you're going to have these smart meters in there. It's a sneaky smart meter price hike on Melbourne Cup Eve. And it says here that money-hungry power companies will hit households an extra $1.1 billion to install smart meters after winning approval for hikes on the eve of Melbourne Cup. Of course, Australia just had the carbon tax slapped on them. It says here California's new green tax as the world retreats from cap and trade. Sacramento signs on. Yeah, they're also incorporating gay, lesbian, sex education to kindergartners. And they're also giving consent to 11-year-olds to get Gardasil vaccines so that they can increase their profits. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. And it says it may be time for California to formally apply. Invented by former iPod chief, it says here that a new intuitive thermostat that automatically adjusts your home's heating and cooling based on your schedule and lifestyle, all while savings big on energy bills. And of course, in the future, you're not going to have a choice. It's just going to go in there and scale down your heating and your whatever it is that you're using, and you can be screwed, right? And you got to do it for the environment. You must sacrifice for the planet. Next up, scientists who said climate change skeptics had been proven wrong, accused of hiding truth by colleagues. The U.S. launches this weather and climate satellite. I think it's going to be used for basically monitoring all the spraying. It's for monitoring global weather patterns and climate. But that's because they're spraying globally, so that would make sense. Fukushima released record radiation into sea, and it's funny because they could actually say they're touting now in the news. Scientists can predict the weather 14 years in advance. Well, that's because they're creating the weather. Fukushima released record radiation into sea, covered that. Then top U.S. foreclosure law firm threw Halloween party where staff dressed as foreclosed upon Americans. It says here that the firm basically represents banks and mortgage servicers as they attempt to foreclose on homeowners and evict them from their homes, so it's a big joke to them. From earlier this year, British families shrinking as 60% of parents say we cannot afford a child. Covered this before, abortion safer than childbirth. And then we have this, 2 abortion clinic employees plead guilty to murder, says he regularly and legally delivered live viable babies in 3rd trimester, then murdered them, severing their spinal cords. The GGN, thank you.